Good morning, everyone. Here's the end of the Sabine women story. 5 C, D, and E. So 3 stories today. Novissimum and bellum. So novissimum. Notice there the superlative start. The newest war arose from the Sabines, which was the maximum. Another superlative, which was the greatest. 2 superlatives there, which was the greatest by far. The Sabines, ceperunt, captured the Roman Ardachem, the Roman citadel on Mount Capitoline. If you remember, that was sort of eventually the political centre of Rome. So they captured the Roman citadel on Mount Capitoline, dolo, by trickery. The Romans, postero die, twab, time when ablative. The Romans, on the next day, conati sunt, from conor, deponent verb, so there's a few deponents here. The Romans, the next day, tried to recapture tried to take back the citadel. Ubi hostius hostilius, when hostius hostilius, that's such a good name, it's Star Wars-like, isn't it? Dux exercitus, the leader of the exercitus, fourth declension noun there, the leader of the Roman army, cecidit, fell. As the note said, I think, cecidit, there, a euphemism for died. Confessed him, immediately the Roman battle line, pulsa est, perfect passive, was driven back. But Romulus, vovit, templum, looking at this, trying to think of a good translation, maybe prayed at the temple of Jupiter Stator, or prayed to the temple of Jupiter Stator, and oravit, and begged for auxilium, and begged for help. Remember Jovi, or Jovis actually, so that's dative here, it is prayed to the temple to Jupiter Stator, Jovis being the genitive form of Jupiter. Tum credens, then, believing, following a form of saying or thinking, believing his prayers to have been heard, he said, believing, don't forget that pronoun suas, believing his own prayers to have been heard, indirect statement, he said, from here, Romans, Jupiter, Optimus, Maximus, Jupiter the greatest, and most important, nos jubet, orders us to resist and to renew the fight, resisterunt. The Romans resisted, tanquam, as though jussi, having been perfect passive participle, the Romans resisted as if jussi, as if having been ordered by a caelesti, by a divine voice. Tum Sabinae mulieres, then the Sabine women, ausai sunt, semi-deponent verb ausai sunt, then the Roman women dared, not were dared, it's semi-deponent, dared, infere, to bring themselves amongst the volantia, present participle, amongst the flying missiles. Ut, in order, imperfect subjunctive, purpose clause, in order to beg for peace from their fathers and from their husbands. Duces ea re moti, the leaders, moti, moved by ea re, by that event, not only faciunt, made peace, but also a single state from duabus, from the two of them. So this is how the Romans and the Sabines came together. Regnum quoque consocient, they also joined and made an alliance of the kingdom, I suppose that one could say, allied the kingdom and made Rome the sedem, the seat of power. So they also allied the kingdom, made an alliance, associated, united the kingdom, maybe would be good here. They also united the kingdom and made Rome the centre of power, multitudo. The group, ita aucta, having been enriched, ita, in this way, having been built in this way, appellata, was called by a new name, Quirites, was called by the new name, the Quirites. So this is the early Roman names. So it's a predicate. Literally, they were called as the Quirites. So they were called. So worth knowing that actually in terms of themes and ideas. So this group, now enriched in this way, was called by a new name, the Quirites, ex curibus, from the Cures, quae, which was from Cures, which was the capital city of the head city of the Sabines. Deinde Romulus. Then Romulus, diviso, having divided his people into triginta curias, into 30 wards. These would later be the tribes that would vote in Roman elections. Having divided his people into 30 tribes, gave to the wards, gave to the curies, gave to these groups, the nomina, the names of the captured women. So each one was named after one of the women that had been captured. I didn't know that until I translated this bit. Post aliquot. After some years, Tatius was killed by the, I suppose you would say, by the Laurentines. Interfectus est, perfect passive there. Romulus afterwards ruled solus, ruled alone. In the following years, a second, bella secunda, in the following years, you would say that favourable wars or following wars, in the following years, secunda, favourable wars were fought with, and I'm just looking here, I'm going to have to move this up a little bit because I think we've lost a line. Yeah, there we go. In the following years, favourable wars were fought with the Fidentibus, were fought with the people of Fidenae and with the Veantai, with the Veantians, the Etruscan people. So eventually, after Romulus, there was going to be Etruscan kings, so Etruscans were neighbouring tribes. They were the people that invented the arch, incidentally. And indeed the funeral games that would become the gladiatorial games. And they brought colour purple to Rome. So they were brought to the, were waged against them. Dum Romulus, sorry, I'm moving this translation up, so I obviously didn't have enough room in there. Dum Romulus, while Romulus, quodam tempore, at a certain time, recensit, was looking over his army on the Campus Martius. Tempestas, was reviewing his army on the Campus Martius. Tempestas subito, suddenly a storm, cohorta, having arisen, perfect active participle, storm having suddenly risen, operuit, covered him in cloud. Patres, the senators, do you remember we talked about the fathers, the senators, who, steterant, who had stood nearest, superlative again there, dixerent, said that the king had been taken up, having been lifted, had been taken away, sublimo, had been taken away, having been lifted up. By the way, lots of people think that actually this is just complete rubbish and that the senators killed Romulus because he became too powerful. Again, leading to that image of the Romans disliking kings, not wanting kings, and that actually, so people had to be very careful. For instance, when Augustus was sort of being referred to as a new Romulus, he wanted to be very careful that he didn't follow in the track of Romulus, which was basically get yourself killed by the senators who don't want you to become too powerful. So, indirect statement there. The senators who had stood, pluperfect, nearest, said that the king, having been lifted up, had been taken away. Their perfect passive infinitive. Deinde. Then they all shouted together, Salve, be strong, God born from a god. Romulus is said afterwards, again, look for an indirect statement following a verb of saying or thinking, to have shown, say, to have revealed himself to a quidam, good pronoun there, to a certain, remember everyone forgets these pronouns, to a certain citizen, and that he told him these words, and to have spoken to him with these words. Nuntia, tell the Romans that the gods, indirect statement there, that the deos, that the gods want Rome, want my Rome, esse, to be the head of the orbis terrarum, of the world. Proinde, then, so to this end, I suppose that one could say, therefore, consequently, good here, consequently, res militaris collenda est, military affairs must be followed. I like that. Military affairs must be worshipped, must be cultivated. Nam, for no human opes, strength, possunt, is able to resist Roman arms. For no human opis power, might be good here, for no human power is able to resist the Romans. Postea, afterwards, the name Quirinus additum esse was added to Romulus regnavit. He ruled for septem et triginta. He ruled for 37 years. Time hard on accusative. Very well done, everyone. I'll see you all next lesson.